Five Love Languages is a great book. I think it's an awesome starting point for understanding how we express and how we receive love. But to be honest, there are some important elements missing. Let's explore some deeper layers to relationship connection and how to let the love you feel about your partner really be felt and hit home. It's important to understand that these relationship patterns are rooted in our family imprint, how our parents loved each other, even how our grandparents resolved conflict. It's not just about what's going on in our relationship today, but what our earliest life experiences have wired us to need and even expect inside our loving relationships. Our early family experiences end up creating this blueprint for how we navigate our loving relationships. This includes how our needs were met or not met as babies and children. And these early experiences are deeply rooted inside the body. I often talk about it with my clients as the body memory. And we come from there like a reference point in how we're giving and receiving love. So before we can even start looking at the love languages, we've really got to back it up a bit and consider earlier things like our family imprint. How did our parents show each other love? What were their relationship patterns? Did they lean towards each other in times of conflict? Or did they turn away completely and kind of independently go about solving that? What are your unmet needs in childhood? And how about your spouse? What experiences might they have had? It's so interesting to mention that those unmet needs in our childhood actually shape what we seek in a partner, unconsciously, of course. We also want to look at generational patterns. What past generations in our families had these specific relationship challenges, and often we're going to see them repeat in present day experiences. So, while I really appreciate the information in the five love languages, I see it as very relatable, but it tends to stay on the surface level. And what about the deeper places of why we need those words of affirmations or why we might want to have quality time together? I would say that one of the biggest things missing from the five love languages is that it tends to stay on the surface. And it's really about the present moment of the relationship. And I like to go to those deeper emotional needs. So, one thing I see a lot in the clients that I work with is communication through hinting instead of expressing our needs honestly, and the curiosity of where does that come from. If we start to consider a child who brought vulnerability or tears or hurt to a parent and then was shut down or shamed or made fun of for bringing that vulnerability forward, you could imagine that inside the long term relationship of today, we're expressing things like hurts or just how much they love the other person, or worries can sometimes get out of control, or jealousies. We might not express them clearly because of that body memory we have as a child. And so now we're just hinting and things are getting missed and we're feeling hurt that our partner doesn't just know. We've got to really look at how to communicate honestly, directly, clearly. And in order for us to do that, we often need to clear up some past hurts that are getting in the way of our ability to do that. This is why the five love languages is a great starting point, but I truly feel it doesn't go deep enough. We want a more complete understanding that includes your childhood along with your spouses and the whole family imprint, that past influence of what might be stuck on repeat. If you've read the book, you probably know all about showing love through acts of service, expressing care by doing tasks for their partner, maybe doing the dishes or running errands, something that feels really tangible. What I've noticed in my clients is those that really show love through acts of service. This is where they feel most comfortable expressing love by doing something to lighten the life load of their partner. I often find they have a harder time with expressing themselves intimately by expressing love through emotion, deep conversation, or really spending a lot of time together. It's kind of like, well, I washed the car and I picked up the dry cleaning. How else do you need to know that I love you? And the person who has a different love language, maybe quality time together, is sort of there with her arms crossed, thinking, why on earth would that show me that you love me? These are just things in life that need to be done. Over the years of working with clients, this is a common example that I can share where that person who's expressing through acts of service marries somebody whose love language is quality time together. And although they both sincerely love each other, it's sort of not landing with the other person. This is why I feel we've just got to go deeper with this work to be able to resolve it. So this couple can move forward beyond just what their love languages might be. So if you can relate to that, maybe you're in partnership with someone who's an acts of service kind of person. And while you might absolutely appreciate the dishes being done or the kids being picked up or whatever that real life task is, you're probably also craving deep conversation, meaningful time together, maybe a surprise trip where the two of you can deepen your intimacy and time together. But it never seems to happen. This is why I feel like the work has got to go deeper to be able to get beyond that sense of, well, I showed you that I love you by, I don't know, shoveling out the backyard or fixing up the garden. Some task that, yes, needs to be done in life, but might not necessarily translate the depth of love and really move the relationship forward. The first thing I like to do with a couple that might be stuck in a place like this is exploring how their family of origin dealt with emotions. Some helpful questions to reflect on is, what roles or expectations did you unconsciously take on in your family growing up? Do you notice yourself playing similar roles in your current relationship now? Oftentimes, it can be the case where someone who expresses acts of service as their way of loving was a child that took care of a really sad parent and so was very much rewarded by, oh, thank you for doing this. Thank you for cleaning up the toys. And there was this praise around the doing. And that got really confused with, this is the best way that I can love you. And so take notice if you love somebody who you'd like more than acts of service as the way of expressing love. What happened in their childhood? Did they take care of an addicted, depressed, or sad parent? And that's maybe a little bit where they're stuck in their current relationship. And how do you invite them into depth of connection that you might be craving, that you're really wanting to explore? This is how understanding these dynamics and then actively working to bridge communication gaps so that you're able to meet on the same page in the way that you express love. Oh, I can't tell you how much more fulfilling, stronger relationship this builds. This work is really looking inward, recognizing our patterns and choosing to engage with partners from that place of vulnerability and the intention of the love you really want to create. This is where the depth of love really grows. From my experience and almost 20 years of working with couples, the real work is looking inward, recognizing our patterns and choosing to engage with our partner from a place of vulnerability and the intention of where we'd like to see our relationship move. This is where the depth and real love grows, the kind of love that lasts a lifetime. If you're someone looking to solve relationship challenges and really like this in-depth view, subscribe to my channel. Consider forwarding this video along to a friend you think would really benefit from it. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you next time.